moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. It is Monday, the 26th day of May 2025, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kumbi. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it.
Good morning, and I am Makinlabi Holder. And Adana, the month is flying by, the year is moving on so fast. But we thank God for life, and we've got so much done over the weekend. How was your weekend, Adana?
I must agree with you. Not just the month is flying on, but the actual year. Can you imagine next month we'll be at the half mark points? Just a couple of months ago, we were saying Happy New Year and welcoming our viewers back to Tobago Updates Television. And here we are already in the month of May. I mean, the weekend was an exciting one. There were so many things happening over the weekend. On Friday we had the swearing in, and I think Friday night and Saturday night there was turtle watching. Yes. I heard some persons went to the movies as well, and they fell asleep. I'm just hearing things in the wind. I'm hearing things in the wind. So I know the weekend was an exciting weekend for me. It was also very well spent. I went to church yesterday and spent some time with family and friends over the weekend. And I continue with you to give God thanks for life and for health and strength and His grace. That, of course, is taking us through the paces and emotions and the demands of life. So I thank God for that. I thank God for that.
Yes. Good way to start off the week, Anna.
That's right.
Good way to start off the week.
That's right. And we do hope that you have the same report, all our viewers out there, that you had a wonderful weekend and you are indeed in thanksgiving mode unto the Almighty God for sparing our lives to be here today. We have a wonderful show lined up for you this morning, and we do hope you could stay with us. But before we get into it, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Monday, 26th May 2025. A shooting incident occurred on Saturday morning at Gala Street, Buko, involving 31-year-old Keelan Trim. Trim was at home with his girlfriend when two armed men dressed in black entered their bedroom. One of the suspects pointed a firearm at his girlfriend before waking Trim. Shortly thereafter, two loud explosions were heard, and Trim was subsequently found nursing gunshot wounds to his face. Police responded, and the victim was transported to the hospital, where it was confirmed he sustained 4 gunshot wounds and a broken jaw. Trim is currently in a stable condition. Investigations into the incident are ongoing. A brutal late-night attack on foreign volunteers has shaken the normal, peaceful Corbin local wildlife nature reserve in Tobago. 2 Irish women and a 70-year-old man working on a design project were attacked in their bungalow. The woman escaped by jumping through a window, while the man was assaulted with a cutlass and rod. All victims were treated and discharged. Corbin praised the police response and confirmed increased patrols. He remains committed to ensuring safety and continuing the reserve's educational mission. And finally, amid rising national expenditure, Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisesa announced that the government will review contracts with private security companies to reduce the $500 million currently spent on contracted security services. She noted this figure excludes police and protective services. Meanwhile, Prasad Bisesa said the Education Ministry accounts for almost $200 million, the Tobago House of Assembly about $80 million, the Judiciary about $70 million, and the National Security Ministry about $30 million. The Prime Minister emphasized accountability and transparency, stating this is part of a broader cost-cutting effort, including reducing rental expenses. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Bianna, for our news there in 90 seconds. And your top story there talking about the shooting incident taking place over the weekend. You'd never like to hear this type of information, this type of news coming out, especially in communities in Tobago. After we had that period late last year, and then we kind of we felt as if we had a handle on it, and I still believe that we do.
Yes.
But there's still work to be done in terms of policing, and not just policing. Can I use the term community policing in terms of the community coming out and providing the information, collaborating with the protective services and the agencies? Because I mean, it's not something you want to wake up to, or something you want to find out about happening in your communities, right? You want to feel safe and you want to feel secure, and I'm trying to figure out what other measures can be put in place to ensure that we are able to detect crime and criminal activity, and that we are able to ensure that we provide a space that is safe for all of us here on the island.
Well, Adana, it's not just you mentioned the communities cooperating with the police, but it's not just the communities to cooperate with the police, but it's for the communities to really take hold of the families in their communities and really guide them on a path away from criminality. So we really need to also take a look at ourselves as people, as a society, and really ask ourselves, are we doing enough to bring this thing under control? Because if we leave it up to the police and the state alone, crime will never come under control, because they can't be everywhere all the time. They can't patrol every single port, every single bay, or every single cove to stop drugs from coming in, guns from coming in. A lot of it has to do with us really taking account for how we raise our families, how we raise our children.
That's right, because sometimes people are aware of what is happening right in their households, right in their communities, and sort of enabling the behavior instead of sort of lending that measure of listen, you need to change, or reporting, of trying to find alternative ways for them to be inducted into the community, into community life and the spirit of community. But I want to shift gears a little bit, and I want to talk about the swearing in that took place last Friday. Was it Friday? Yes. Last Friday, and I was looking at it and beaming with joy and pride rather for Tobago. I was particularly listening to the applause, and for me, I find as if our Tobago boys got a lot of applause.
Yes, especially on their entering to go to the parliament.
Yes.
Yeah, the applause was really tremendous, and the supporters, I must say, they went out in their numbers.
Yes.
TPPs, the support base in TPP seems to be very, very strong, and it seems to just be growing as the years go along. As from election to election, the support base seems to be growing. They're getting a lot more confident. They're being a lot more supportive, because I would have never expected for a whole crew to go down to Trinidad
I know.
for the swearing in. They made this a really big thing,
Yes.
They had their
First
watch
time in
party and
history
everything.
Tobago came out, and when I saw the numbers, when I saw them walking towards the parliament, I was like, wow, it's a lot of people. And I really want to say congratulations to Tobago, regardless of your political affiliation. I know primarily it is TPP supporters who went down. But what I am seeing is Tobago people going down to support our two Tobago representatives, because the position they hold is not a common situation, rather. You have two parties on the opposition. It's not common. So I felt as if Tobago really stepped up, and they showed forth, and people in Trinidad, they were talking about it.
Yes.
I heard some if you can call them, some influential social media personnel talking about them showing up, Tobago showing up and being there for our boys. So I'm really, really proud of Tobago.
I also want to, touch on the fact that while we applauding Tobago, two other persons were from Tobago in the cabinet as well, which is on the opposition side, we have Miss Melanie Rajman, and also one of the independent senators, Miss Candice
Yes,
Simmons. Yes.
Simmons, yes.
Yes.
Congratulate. Tobago really is, we underestimate, people underestimate, not ourselves, because we know our value, we know our worth, but sometimes we get underestimated. And, I really like to see when we rise to the occasion, when we rise to the fore. And of course, we are going to continue to be the cheerleaders of people from Tobago who are rising up and doing things nationally and internationally and bringing recognition to us here on the island of Tobago.
And one more point, Adana, on the point of the senators, right? Where we talk about inclusivity for everyone, right? The senator that is blind, I can't remember her name at this point, but it's good to see that she was included as well.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And we want to provide a space for everybody who has, once you have that substance to bring, I think a space should be created, and we're working towards ensuring that that can be done across the board here in Trinidad and Tobago.
New faces in the Tobago space, new faces in the Parliament for Tobago. So it's a new voice. We're really excited to see what all of them would bring. Those in the government, those in the opposition, those that are independent. We're really excited to see what they will do.
And though we are excited to see, trust me, we are looking on at you, and that word we're holding you accountable for the things that you are responsible for. All the excitement, yes, we're good to be excited, but please, the deliverables, that's what we are looking for, right? So we will be keeping our eyes on the processes and to see the outcomes. All right, Biana, thank you so much for joining us this morning here for the news in 90 seconds. We do hope that you have a wonderful day today.
You too.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the morning where we celebrate with those who are celebrating. It's time for our birthday shout-outs. And we here at Tobago Updates Television, we love a good birthday celebration. And we start off with my good friend, in fact, my cousin-in-law, Mr. Gavin Vincent is celebrating a birthday today. And no, actually yesterday, it was his birthday yesterday. Happy belated birthday to you, Gavin. And we pray God's blessings upon your life. And I do hope that you have a wonderful and amazing birthday. When Gavin told me how old he was, I could not believe it. But God is good. His grace abounds for eternity. And I wish you God's speed. Continue to enjoy the celebration. So happy birthday to you.
And we say happy birthday to Pastor Clive Dutton. Happy birthday, Pastor Clive Dutton. He's one of the more popular religious figures in Trinidad and Tobago. We know he's a powerful man of God. He's a very vocal person. He's all about justice and fairness in Trinidad and Tobago. And he's continuing that fight, and we pray that God will give him the strength to continue that fight to the very end. We know you're going to be celebrating this day today with your members of your church, members of your family. They're going to be showing you with a lot of love. And we wish God's richest blessings on you today.
And finally, we have Miss Frederica Brooks Adams, who is also celebrating a birthday, and we say happy birthday to you. We do pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that you have a wonderful, amazing birthday, and may this new chapter, may the pages of this new chapter be beautifully written as well. And for those of you who are indeed celebrating, even though we don't have your photographs, it does not mean that we're not celebrating with you. We are celebrating as well, and we remind you, of course, to put God first, because he is the sole reason why there's even anything for you to celebrate. Akinlabi, who are we having conversations with this morning in studio?
So this morning we're going to have a conversation with Mr. Alan Stewart, who's the director of team at the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, and he's going to be talking about the rainy season being declared and preparing for the hurricane season. And next on the line, we're going to have Ms. Gail Remy Rajkumar, who is the co-founder and co-chair of the Trinidad and Tobago Sister Society and the local arm of the Women in the Credit Union Industry. And they're going to be talking about their Sip and Paint in Tobago event. And finally, we're going to be having a conversation with Leah Marcel and Keston Marcel. And they're going to be talking about a candlelight walk for justice.
That's right. And we do hope, viewers, that you can stay with us throughout the entire programming. And I want to say a special good morning to all our viewers who are online on our Facebook live stream and our YouTube channel. Good morning, Miss Pearl Murray Beard. Good morning, Miss Julia Brown. Newton George, good morning, watching all the way from Toronto. All of our loyal viewers, we thank you so much. It is because of you why we remain number one. And we continue to encourage us as we go along. We appreciate your comments. We appreciate your comments, your recommendations, and even your critique sometimes. We really do appreciate it. It really helps us to become better at what we do. So whether you're viewing right here in Tobago, in Trinidad, the Caribbean region, the United States of America, we welcome you this morning to be a part of what is happening. And before I go, of course, this morning, What's in My Cup? What's in My Cup is sponsored by LCJ Delights. And this morning, I am drinking cocoa shell and bay leaf tea. LCJ Delights is located at the Micro Enterprise Complex at Signal Hill Signal Hill, where you can find them for your teas, for your porridges, flour to make your pancakes and your waffles. So get on to them this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we begin conversations in studio, and as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
Do you think you know Premier League or Champions League football? What about international cricket or the IPL and CPL? How about NBA basketball? Well, now you can put your skills to work to earn some extra cash by betting on the games with TT Bet Arena. Simply go to our website, choose a sport you want to bet on, find the games, and place your bets. And with your computer or mobile device, you can bet from anywhere. Just go to ttbetarena.com, sign up for a free account, make a deposit, and start betting. It's that simple. You can even qualify for our $2,000 sign-up bonus. We also have horse racing, plus live casino games where you can bet using TT dollars. And check our new Tobago location at 7B Milford Road, Crown Point. For more info, call or WhatsApp 494-0634. TT Bet Arena, the #1 sports betting company in Trinidad and Tobago.
Saving up to go. Anything we not backing down, like a bomb we ready to explode. Ain't gonna wait until my back against the wall. Ain't gonna.
Courts is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Courts Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Courts Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme.
Well, I want a proper window for me house, yeah? I want no shake thing in my place.
Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces.
We get one wall on the side and we get one hole. you can put a window there, invent something, a window for put there.
At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style.
Well, me meet ya. Me don't know who I'm talking to, but I be children, cousin Tofina tell me, for call all you go get proper thing for put there. Me don't know.
Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business.
Driven? No, I ain't driving. I get a bus ticket. One of me pick me them go drop me down there. Must bring me down there. Russo Trade Springer down by the place down there.
Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products, it's about relationships. It's about you.
It's all about me? Who's your family? You know Edna and Dorka and them, you know them, but you resemble them Edward boy and them Edward people, them you.
Tobago Glass Supplies, Russo Trade Spring Garden, telephone number 639-6266. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We begin conversations this morning in studio. We speak with Mr. Alan Stewart, the director of TEMA, and we're talking about the fact that we know that the rainy season has been declared, I think it was last week, and our preparation for the hurricane season. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, ma'am. It's good to be here once again.
Of course, always a pleasure speaking with you in studio and of course getting the updates and learning new terminologies, because every time you come here, I learn a new word, I learn a new term, you know, and so I'm always excited to have conversations with you. We know that the rainy season was declared, usually it's in June if I'm not mistaken, but we saw, I think it was last week.
That's right.
Tuesday or something like that, we saw the declaration from the Meteorological Office. What does that mean in terms of the type of rainy season that we could be looking forward to for this season?
Well, going on the backdrop that, you know, we have been starved for the amount of water that we expected to get in our taps, and as the end results of that, we are very, very, very grateful that the rainy season is on. And it has begun, and therefore it requires us to do the necessary preparation. So I think WASA is a very happy camper. They will be trying to capture as much as possible to keep our taps wet and as we move along. But more so, it's just at the eve of the hurricane season as well. So the hurricane season begins from the month of June, the 1st of June, to November the 30th. And therefore, it means that there's a lot to be done. It means, therefore, that given the signals that we have seen over the past 2 years, things are happening at a much earlier than we have grown accustomed to over the years. We recognize for us in this part of the hemisphere that the Atlantic hurricane season for those of us in the southern part of the archipelago of islands have been preparing more or less between August, September, October. We have seen that those active months that you see a step up in. But from the last 2 years, we have seen these developments very much low on our latitude level, and therefore we have to be careful. We saw what happened with Beryl just last year at the 7th of July, and therefore it speaks volumes, and therefore it gives rise to us doing things a little differently. And for this year, we began our preparation as early as February, given our experiences, given the challenges with funding and procurement processes that goes through a rudiments of steps that sometimes the viscosity is just not where you will want it to be. It's not galloping. It is very, very a slow process, and therefore it has put a strain. Another major area is funding. You know, The scriptures say, money answereth all things. And if you didn't believe it, that is real in the sense that with limited amount of funding and the stresses of past events, dating back to December of 2023, we have recognized that hydrometeorological events tied together with the event of 2024, which the worst of its kind, with the Operation Gulf Stream. And last year we also had a burial touching us in some way, and it has placed us in a very, very, very challenging situation. And recently we had reasons to have deeper discussion with the administration of the Tobago House of Assembly, and they have given their commitment or with the understanding of these challenges. It's important for us to make our case, and that was made. And so we are looking forward that our preparation will pick up pace going forward.
What are some of the infrastructural measures that have to be put in place to bring us to a place of better preparedness?
First of all, let me start with our domestic community. It's important that we speak to Tobago and say, listen, you have to strengthen your resilience is very important at the residential level, where you make yourself the communication outreach team, community outreach team normally say, make yourself a hard target. Our exposure is one that is set, meaning therefore we are north of Trinidad and Tobago, and therefore the likelihood of us being impacted require aggressiveness of what we do at the community level. For example, in the homes, you have to make sure that trees taken care of, river courses and ravines and drainage cleansed on that level. And then when you take it a little further, you have to make sure that your roof is well attached, and you do the necessary repairs. Now is the time to make sure that it is completed as we move into the season. So apart from that, you also there is that element that somebody will be impacted. And therefore, your family emergency plan becomes very, very crucial in that undertaking. Ensure that you can take care of yourself for 72 hours. Make that your goal. That is what we ask of the members of the community, that you can take care of yourself for 72 hours. In a very widespread event, it is almost impossible, given the human resource that we have from a professional angle, to respond to every call. And we are talking about impacts at a disaster level, where there is island-wide impact, and homes are damaged in quantities. It's critical that we build that level of resilience at the community level. And then there is the rest of the varying communities. For example, divisions of the Tobago House of Assembly, they have a key role in preparing their estates, in the sense that it's important that they pay attention for the main. It's important for business continuity. They have a service to provide as well to the rest of the community. For example, the IQUD, road clearance, and making sure that what you do before, during, and after make a lot of sense to the community and to the persons who are impacted. Or road networks, removing debris, things like that. It's important that utilities, I really appreciate what TNTech and some of these persons are doing. But in the mix of that, we also saw that we have some challenges with overhead lines. Utility lines are now a menace in the society, and we are doing all that we can from a teamer perspective, given our responsibility of coordinating a network of agencies. So we are working along with them to ensure that level of consciousness, because we have seen what has happened, the slightest breeze blow or a branch pull along a line and things like that. And I have come to conclude that we can conclude that just as how water is an imperative, so is our communications. And therefore, that resilience needs to be at that level as well. So that is very important. And then there we have seen what is happening with sargassum and the onslaught on our beaches and how our way of life and things like that. So we have these compounding issues as a result of climate change and the warming of our waters that we have to continuously do the necessaries to prepare ourselves for this.
And what is the likelihood, I mean, as we enter into the what we call the hurricane season, based on your experience and profession, of course, and the observations of the patterns that is taking place and systems being formed, what is the likelihood of us, where we are located, be in the path of a hurricane, for a hurricane, sir?
Yeah, it's important. I always tell people about a story because some of these events, our age, some just doesn't allow us to connect. So I always bring the story of 1933. 1933, a storm of a particular strength passed through the southern part of Trinidad. The southern part of Trinidad. What does that tell you? It means that Trinidad and Tobago, from 7 degrees north of the equator, finds itself in the hurricane belt. I've seen it in textbooks, but they are wrong. Even in a textbook, it is wrong. That, it's good talk for tourism. Like, okay, we are south of the archipelago of islands, but we are not out of the hurricane belt. The hurricane belt begins 7 degrees north of the equator. Trinidad and Tobago is located between 10 and 11 degrees of the equator. And therefore, the likelihood of us being impacted continues to demonstrate that that is a reality based on what we even saw last year, where it's for the first time. If I didn't believe that there is a God last year, I believe that there is a God. When I look and saw what happened with Beryl, I always say anything get to us at that level, at 11 degrees north of the equator and falls between 50 degrees longitude, there's no way that we are getting away. But I'm not sure if it was the chief secretary's prayer. I always feel that way when he prayed for us that we be spared. And I was a bit nervous. I was really nervous. So the probabilities of we being impacted occurred. And what happened to you before can always happen again. That's how life is. And therefore, we have to be very, very serious as a people. There are some among us sometimes behave as though they are insulated. But I am saying to us, we all have to be prepared because climate change, regardless of your belief pattern, your education, whether you are ignorant of the fact, it is very, very, very true that we would have been impacted very severely in the past, and it will happen again. And therefore, it's important for us to prepare ourselves because climate change is galloping at a pace beyond. The sargassum is a proof of this. The sargassum was named after the Sargasso Sea. Now the waters are warm in our territories, and these things are breeding and impacting it. Those are signs that the waters are heating up drastically, and therefore the probabilities of us being impacted is very real.
And in terms of our actual preparedness from an agency standpoint, administrative standpoint, where are we? I know you mentioned that there's always room for improvement, but how confident are you at this stage, as we have like 1 week before we head into the actual hurricane season, as we would call it? How do you feel in terms of Tobago being, okay, we're ready, we're not ready, with 70%, 50%, 60%, where do you feel we are right now?
Last week, if you had asked me that question, or 2 weeks ago, my answer would have been the truth, that we are not ready. However, given the state of affairs and given the resources that are available to us, our business is to work with what exists, impress upon our charges to do the necessaries for preparation. We have started, as I said, work as early as February this year. We have joined with our partners from Trinidad, the ODPM. This month, the month of May, has been declared Disaster Preparedness and Prevention Month. And therefore, we have our hit the road. We are doing what we can. We have participated in trade winds in the CDRU, the Caribbean Disaster Response Unit. They held their exercises just a few weeks ago here in Tobago. We participated. So we are doing what we can with the resources available to us. There are also major challenges in regards to infrastructure. There's no secret is out there that, we have some structural challenges across at Timor. We have mobility issues with our vehicles and things like that. That is being attended to. I really appreciate the discourse that we had with the chief administrator and the commitment that he has made towards ensuring that our levels of preparedness is where it ought to be. And given his soberness and bringing everybody on board, it's important as an administration that the United Nations speaks about disaster governance. And to me, it's critically important at these levels is where it is tested and proven whether or not it holds sway, whether or not there are commitment at administrative levels to support. We cannot run disaster management based on charity. It's not just enough. And therefore, it's important for even among the corridors of government that leaders, wherever they are, demonstrate as well that they have a role to play and not something that they just tossed upon the disaster office to take care of. There are many, many moving parts, and all of them have to move in this clock.
That is quite right.
For the time to be correct.
And also, I just wanted to re-emphasize the fact that we have a personal responsibility in terms of ensuring. Is there anything put in place for like a public education campaign to ensure? Because I feel as if sometimes we can take things for granted, and we have some sayings that God is our Trini and God loves us, and that is true. Yes, He loves us. But at the same point in time, we have a social responsibility, or a personal responsibility to ensure that we safeguard our property and ourselves. Is there any public education drive or campaign to ensure that we sensitize communities across the island of Tobago to ensure that they understand what they need to have to be prepared and how they manage to take care of themselves for that 72 hours that you're talking about?
It's yes. While the answer is yes, it's insufficient. I always lament that, disaster risk management has become an area of our lives that it even threatens human existence on the face of the planet, especially those of us in the small island developing states, the states of the Caribbean. But it's insufficient from the angle that it's not for the lack of education. I think the people who are involved or has a responsibility know what needs to be done. It's a matter of their level of consciousness, their level of how soberly they look at these threats and what they intend to do. But it's not for the lack of knowledge. Houses burn down every day. It's not people have a clear understanding of fire prevention. It's all about practice and what you do with the information that you have. But as I indicated that it's insufficient, I could qualify that statement by looking at what happens with disaster education in our community or information. For example, the schools, if you could get 2 hours in a school, you have a lot. Mm-hmm. And it's insufficient. When you look at the risk factors and the probabilities of things happening, it's important that we place more emphasis on education from an angle of it being part of the curriculum. And therefore, disaster risks have its place because of our very existence depends on how knowledgeable we are and how adaptive we are, and the transformative processes only comes about with people with that level of consciousness. And therefore, it's imperative that we continue to demonstrate the soberness of it by our regularity, or how pronounced we are and deliberate we are in discharging that bit of information to our communities across the island. That's how we look at it.
All right. I do hope that our viewers are paying attention, and the general public is paying attention and taking on that responsibility to ensure that you remain safe. Listen out for the information that will come from the channels. I think I saw some text over the weekend from the ODP. I know you said you partnered with them. So the information is out there. It's just our responsibility to ensure we get the information, we stay on board with what is happening.
Yeah. I just want to add a couple of things, as you mentioned, the partnership. This month, for example, between by the 28th of this month, which is just a couple of days away, we will be going to Shore Park. We will be meeting with our partners in the disaster management community from the various institutions, and we'll be coming together in a workshop to discuss and to sharpen ourselves going forward. Coming out of all of these exercises, emergency simulation exercises that we had over time, that workshop will be on the 28th at the Shore Park Cultural Facility. So we will be meeting our partners and discussing it, and we continue into the following month, June, where we will be participating in the public service initiative. I think it begins around the 13th and goes until the 25th of June, where in some cases the adoption of community innovation in the public as a public service initiatives. So we are part of that process, and we'll utilize. Then we hit the road. We'll be in the streets of Scarborough, pumping it up, as the minds and the mindsets of the public is more or less geared. That's the reason why I'm here this morning. The consciousness is all here, and people want the ears are open, and because they want to know, hey, what's happening? So it's a time to speak. It's a time to get it message out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I do hope that we keep our ears open and listen to what is happening. Mr. Stewart, thank you so much for joining us this morning and bringing the information. We will remain in touch with you. In fact, we'll bring you back on the program to give us some updates as we proceed into the hurricane season and where we are and what we need to do.
And tell people to get download the app that is used to collect sargassum information. We are working on that. It's out there for the past a few days or so, but it's wonderful. I've tested it. It's working quite nicely. So go on our Facebook page, go on our and pick up the app and utilize it where you see sargassum reported to us. Okay, great. So you go onto the Team of Facebook page to get that information. That's in terms of connecting to the app. There you are. The information is out there. So ensure that you remain connected. We've been speaking with Mr. Alan Stewart, the director of TEMA. We're heading into the hurricane season, and you need to be prepared. You need to know what is happening. So stay in the know. Before we go for a short break, I want to say a special good morning to Miss Abby Allen Moore. And she's saying happy birthday to retired nurse Void Dillon of Charlottesville, and she's praying God's blessings on her life. So happy birthday to you and good morning to you, fine ladies. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversation in studio, and as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions, powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
Do you think you know Premier League or Champions League football? What about international cricket or the IPL and CPL? How about NBA basketball? Well, now you can put your skills to work to earn some extra cash by betting on the games with TT Bet Arena. Simply go to our website, choose a sport you want to bet on, find the games, and place your bets. And with your computer or mobile device, you can bet from anywhere. Just go to ttbetarena.com, sign up for a free account, make a deposit, and start betting. It's that simple. You can even qualify for our $2,000 sign-up bonus. We also have horse racing, plus live casino games where you can bet using TT dollars. And check our new Tobago location at 7B Milford Road, Crown Point. For more info, call or WhatsApp 494-0634. TT Bet Arena, the #1 sports betting company in Trinidad and Tobago.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back, viewers, to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We have on the line with us Ms. Gail Remy Rajkumar, who is the co-founder and co-chair of the Trinidad and Tobago Sisters Society and the local arm of the Women in the Credit Union Industry. And she's coming to speak to us this morning about sip and paint in Tobago. Good morning, Ms. Rajkumar.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much.
So, Ms. Rajkumar, just tell us, this Sip and Paint event in Tobago, what is it really about?
Well, the previous speaker spoke about May month being the disaster preparedness month. I want to also say that May month also relates to the Mental Health Awareness Month. And in that stream, we are focusing on the positivity and having our members in the credit union industry do something that's fun, social, and uplifting. We've just come off celebrating the International Women's Day in March, on March 8th, and now on to Mother's Day, recently celebrated. So we thought no better time and fitting occasion to have something that's light-hearted, that brings women together, and also have something educational. It's our whole mandate to educate a woman in the credit union industry. So that's why we have chosen Tobago at the Kaira Wellness Village to host our Sip and Paint this Friday, May 30th.
Okay, and just tell us what persons could expect, the price, and what they could expect from the Sip and Paint.
Right. The Sip and Paint will be a total program which encompasses different presenters. And in fact, I can name them right now. We have a Dr. Wendy Perot, who will be speaking on the whole idea of genetic, that people can not only expect to live a certain lifestyle, but with diet and exercise, we can all live a better lifestyle. So that's one presenter. Again, we also have someone in the same health arena, and her name is Vanessa Aberdeen, who will be there giving her a presentation on, in terms of pelvic floor dysfunction. We have an artist coming in who's well known, Alicia Aberdeen, to give us her different, focus and I guess paint,
yes,
paint image, that we can have and enjoy. So there's a whole agenda planned for our event on May 30th at the Kaiwa, and from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay,
and the cost of the contribution is $100.
Say that one more time. The cost?
The contribution is $400, all
Okay.
inclusive of the paint, the canvas materials, the food and beverage. The total all-inclusive event we're going to host this Friday coming.
So I'm seeing this is being run by the Global Women's Leadership Network. Just give us a little bit of information on what the Global Women's Leadership Network is and their mandate.
Right. The Global Women's Leadership Network is a US-based organization, and it's a subset of the World Council of Credit Unions. For those of us in the credit union movement, we hold dear that subsection which relates to women, which they have, in 2009, have certainly set aside the part to be inclusive, and that at that time, 2009, this particular group was formed, the Global Women's Leadership Network. We in Trinidad and Tobago are simply a local chapter, a local arm of that Global International Women's Network. And our local arm is called the Trinidad and Tobago Sister Society, TTSS for short, which really is women in the credit union movement, finding a safe space to come to network, share ideas, and issues that are, of the current affairs.
And what are some of the current initiatives and that kind of thing that you're executing, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but particularly to Tobago? What are some of the initiatives that the organization is currently working on?
Well, we have been in existence for the last 10 years, and we have really been doing a lot of, programs in terms of different programs. We talk about educational programs, getting young women together, young school children together. We've done different programs in different sections. We've had different speakers come in to grace us with their knowledge and different information. So each month, or let's say every quarter, we host an event, be it in Trinidad or Tobago. It has been mainly in Trinidad, I must admit that. And that's why I'll be focusing on Tobago in this realm for the Tobago credit unions in particular, So we want to invite all the credit unions to come on board, send at least 2 persons from your industry representative to come and be part of it. It's like a best known secret in Tobago. When I was there last and had something at the TechU facility, people were surprised. Mrs. Rashma, this really happening in Tobago? This really exists? It does. It does. And I wanted, to bring more awareness to what we are doing for women in the credit union industry in particular. And I also want to know.
Go ahead.
Yes. I want to know that it's not, there's no one person funding. We are really at the mercy of people who have participated before and know that what we are about. So there's no funding, organized funding. In other countries, you have the league that takes the responsibility of supporting, but in the Caribbean, it's different. So we just have to keep, letting people know what we're about and the good that we're doing quietly.
Okay, I was now about to ask you about in terms of membership and the kind of membership that you have in Tobago. Are you is it a small membership or is it quite significant? And if it's small, are you looking to grow your membership anytime soon?
Yes, we are. It's small, both in Trinidad and Tobago, and we continue to grow it by, just letting people know that we exist. The thing is that, as I mentioned, there's the top level, the league here, which is the body responsible for the credit unions in Trinidad and Tobago. They need to take the initiative and to support us in a tangible way that all could know, because they're chapters, they're credit unions and they're members. So that's the onion. You have the members, the credit unions, then you have the chapters, then you have the league that supports, and then the Global Women Network. So we are really hoping that the league will take a stand and help us in terms of getting our mission outside there, which is to connect, to collaborate, to inspire, and to empower a woman in the credit union industry.
All right, and I just want to circle back to the Sip and Paint event. Just give us a recap of the information and tell us how can persons get in contact with you if they want to purchase tickets for the Sip and Paint event or if they want to RSVP.
Wonderful, thank you. Again, the Sip and Paint event takes place on Friday, May 30th at the Karawak Wellness Village in Tobago. It's from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. The cost is $400, and you can feel free to contact us at 759-3292 and just bring your fabulous self and come. You have a wonderful evening in store for you.
All right, thank you very much, Miss Remy Rajkumar. We wish you all the best in your event coming up this May 30th, this Friday, May 30th, sorry, at the Karawak Village Hotel. Thank you very much, and we hope you have a good day.
Thank you so much. Same to you.
Okay, viewers, so we'll be going for a short break, but do us a favor. When we come back, we're going to have the Marcel family on, and they're going to be talking about the Candlelight Walk for Justice. So going for a short break, do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be back after these messages.
Tobago, this is your chance to lock in the brunch experience of the summer. Sun up.
Real bad girl, get nasty.
The brunch inclusive edition, the ultimate party in the East, where vibrant flavors, refreshing cocktails, and electrifying vibes collide. It's happening on Saturday, July 5th from 3 p.m. at Deltec Compound, Argyle. Bring your coolers, bring your crew, and brunch, sip, and vibe in style. This is the flavorful escape you've been waiting for. Grab your tickets now at Barcode, Pablo Supermarket, Lost Restaurant and Lounge, Deltec Compound, and committee members. Sun up! It's more than a brunch, it's an experience.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Quartz is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Quartz Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Quartz Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. The photo of the day, let's go to the photo of the day today. Can you guess where this photo was taken? This photo was sent in by Kimberly Narain, and I hope you are able, Kimberly Narain Gavai, I hope you are able to identify where this photo was taken. Before we end the segment this morning, of course, we will reveal to you where this shot was captured, but we're hoping that you would be able to identify it. All right, we continue conversations this morning in studio, and we speak with Leah Marcel and Keston Marcel, who are family members of Mr. Ronell Marcel, and we're talking about a candlelight walk for justice. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so here we are this morning, and we're talking about a candlelight walk for justice. Let's talk about justice first and foremost, or rather, let's recap the need for the candlelight walk. So walk us through the situation.
We would like to keep the candlelight walk next week Thursday from 6.
Well, this week Thursday.
Well, oh gosh, sorry. This week Thursday, sorry. We want people to wear white or blue.
All right, so what is the reason for wanting to keep the candlelight walk?
Justice.
Okay, so we want to know justice for what situation?
Murder.
All right. This event is taking place where? Your viewers want to know?
Egypt.
All right, so where are you starting from and where are you going to?
Egypt Junction, and we just make the round around the village.
All right, and you're starting from 6 p.m. in the afternoon. In terms of persons lending their support while you are planning the event, are you getting the measure of support that you are hoping to get?
No, well, actually, we were trying to get a truck with music, and we didn't. Well, we did get through, but the person couldn't do it again because they have other stuff to do.
Okay.
So we're looking to see if we could get a truck, but we didn't get through as it.
Okay, and in terms of sensitizing the community and family and friends to come out and support, have you had any type of feedback?
Yeah, on my side, some family as well and friends. Yeah, so we want to extend it to the public who would be interested.
So the situation occurred, and you are hoping that this particular walk will. What are you hoping to get out of the?
To the general public to be more aware of the situation, because as we see, the community already is giving us full backing, so we know that we're going to get the community to come out with the candlelight walk. But we just want to get the general public more, well, keep them in the loop that we are seeking justice for the killing of our brother, because there's no right way to do wrong.
Right.
And as far as we see it, it was done the wrong way. We don't mind the law about enforcing, doing their job, but they must do it the right way.
All right. And have you, since the incident occurred, have you been able to have you had any feedback in terms of investigations or anything of that nature?
I like how you asked that, because the last media, or the only media footage that the law department issued was, I think, on the 26th of last month. I saw updates, and we haven't seen any more updates from the law department pertaining to all the whole thing. All we heard is that there is still investigation going on, and it's been a month now. And I think we deserve some more feedback.
And you've been trying to get the feedback. Have you been going in, checking in to get the feedback?
Well, yes, we have been doing the necessaries that we're supposed to do for this situation. Yes, we have been.
Also, my mom told me that 3 police officers had checked her and told her they will make sure she get justice.
Okay.
And they will keep her updated and posted about everything.
All right, and in terms of the walk that is taking place this Thursday, you're calling out the entire community. I know you mentioned earlier, Mr. Keston, that the community is already behind you all and you want to sensitize a wider cross-section of Tobago to come out to lend that measure of support.
Of course.
So things have been put in place already and you're going to start the walk. So if in the absence of the truck, what are you putting in place
Well,
would it be a silent walk? Not that you don't have a truck. Would it be a silent walk?
We have, as I said, the community is giving us back in, so there are individuals in the community who have music on the vehicle car, so we're going to hook it up and we'll play.
So will the cars be driving around with you, or if you don't get the truck?
If you don't get the truck, yeah. So we will be getting music, nevertheless. But the truck will be better. Yeah.
All right. You have the necessary permissions, because if you have a truck on the road and stuff like that, you have to have the necessary
permission.
Right. So to make sure you get that done, right?
Right? Yes, we know this.
Okay, cool. Well, I do hope that the people come out as you have called upon them, and at the end of the day, that's, as you said, there's no. Say it again for me. There is no right way.
There's no right way to do it.
Right. So we do hope that at the end of the day, your objectives are met where this walk is concerned. And if there's anything you want to share with our viewers this morning or encourage them, now is your time to do so.
I just want to encourage, as I said, the general public to give us some support in this time, because it's really how to put it, distasteful as to what happened. And I know people have been saying that they think we have been quiet, but we are mourning. We still are. Right? We waited so long to get the autopsy done, which was, I think, was last week Saturday. Not Saturday, but the week before, the Saturday before. And in this closing time, we just ask them for the support, any necessary support we can get. We accept it. Yeah.
Well, of course, I wish you all the success in your endeavor. And again, condolences from the Tobago Updates television family and all of Tobago. And let's see how things go on Thursday. And all the best. And keep us in the loop in terms of
family contact number that people could contact us.
If you wish to.
Okay.
Oh, and the funeral is on Saturday. I think the time is 1 p.m. I'll have to check on it properly to make sure, but it's Saturday is the funeral.
Okay. So the contact numbers you want to leave in case persons want to contact you to join the walk, you can leave it now on air if you want to for people to contact you.
Okay, my number is 350-2768.
Okay.
And mine is 798-7358.
All right, viewers, so if you want to be a part and lend your support for the Candlelight Walk, which is taking place this Thursday, you can contact Miss Leah or Mr. Keston to get more information and to be a part of what is happening there in Bethel as they have this Candlelight Walk for Justice. This is where we have to end the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. But before we go, did you guess the photo of the day? Did you guess where the photo of the day was taken from? It was sent in by Kimberly Narayan Govaya. You must know where this area is. Somebody tell me on our Facebook live stream. This is the Magdalena Grand Beach Resort. And I do hope that you got it correctly this morning. Thank you, Kimberly, for sending in that photograph for us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, but it's not where we end our programming. We head on over to GMT, and we thank you so much for staying with us. And as you continue to stay, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Serves as a culminating event of the department's commemorative activities. in observance of the International Labour Organization's World Day for Safety and Health at Work 2025. This year's theme, Revolutionizing Health and Safety, the Role of AI and Digitalization at Work, inspired the OSH department to integrate technology into all major activities.
I think it's a fantastic idea. I think safety could be overlooked. And as I did in my research, I noticed that it costs billions actually. And the loss of life is in the millions. Just because people are not mindful of some of the simple things. You know, and to have it highlighted in this way is really beneficial.
The fact that persons are now more aware of it, and we see that there is a wide information. So more persons are now informed about occupational safety and health, and as a result of such, they're actually helping to implement these things in the workplace, and by such, they are now able to put it out there.
When I first was invited to join the safety committee, I understand that safety is part of everything that we do, so it was fit of me. It's not like I went out there looking just to look for an award. I was actually surprised when I was awarded. It was just me doing understanding that safety is over everything.
This is the second year in a row of winning Employee of the Year, and honestly, it caught me by surprise, right? Yes, I work hard. I'm very, dedicated to my job. Probably a little too much. But it feels good that I'm actually recognized for making a change within my division.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly. Gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
And welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates, guys. I am your host, Chanel Felix. And whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting topics and conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. A shooting incident occurred on Saturday morning at Gala Street, Buku, involving 31-year-old Keelan Trim. Trim was at home with his girlfriend when two armed men dressed in black entered their bedroom. One of the suspects pointed a firearm at the girlfriend before waking Trim. Shortly thereafter, two loud explosions were heard, and Trim was subsequently found nursing gunshot wounds to his face. Police responded, and the victim was transported to the hospital, where it was confirmed he sustained 4 gunshot wounds and a broken jaw. Trim is currently in stable condition. Investigations into the incident is ongoing. A brutal late-night attack on foreign volunteers has shaken the normally peaceful Corbin Local Wildlife Nature Reserve in Tobago. 2 Irish women and a 78-year-old man working on a design project were attacked in their bungalow. The women escaped by jumping through the roof, while the man was assaulted with a cutlass and robbed. All victims were treated and discharged. Corbin praises the police response and confirmed increased patrol. He remains committed to ensuring safety and continuing to reserve educational missions. And finally, amid rising national expenditure, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar announced that the government will review contracts with private security companies to reduce the $500 million debt currently spent on contracted services. She noted that figures excluding police and protective services. Meanwhile, Persad-Bissessar said Education Ministry accounts for almost $200 million, the Tobago House of Assembly about $80 million, the Judiciary $70 million, and National Security Ministry about $30 million. The Prime Minister emphasized accountability and transparency, stating this is part of the broad cost-cutting efforts, including reducing rental expenses. And that was our news in 90 seconds. Now, this morning, I have the privilege of chatting about all that's happening on the education front as it pertains to developments in the community. This morning, I am sitting in studio and chatting with Technical Advisor to the Division of Education Research and Technology, Miss Anne Natasha Secker. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you, Chanel, and good morning to Tobago, Trinidad, the nation.
Right. And this morning we are having a number of conversations, but let's start off with what's happening in the community as it pertains to education and educational development. Now, recently, your division launched a project called Community Impact. Now, we are aware that you usually do the Impact program during the summer vacation for students, right? And so now we're hearing that there's Community Impact. Can you tell us about the difference between those two projects?
Of course. So what everybody would be familiar with is Project Impact. So that was a response to the learning loss that was experienced during the COVID-19 pandemic. We would have had 3 years of intervention based on the data and the research. So we looked at remedial students for the first 2 years, and last year we introduced 1 cohort of accelerated students. But what we would have noted from research gathered was that a number of parents within the communities could not support their students, their children, in terms of helping them with their home assignments and so on, because they lack that kind of education themselves. Apart from that, we have evidence that the underqualification in areas like CSEC mathematics and CSEC English means that people are not being able to fill vacancies that are critical in early childhood and in the technical vocational areas. So we have responded to this social problem by introducing Community Impact. So what Community Impact is an opportunity for persons who left school without completing their qualifications, some persons who never learned how to read and do not understand numeracy, etc., to have that opportunity. It's their time to come out and engage in teaching and learning processes. We're going to be looking at different groups of persons, those who need to learn how to read, to do numeracy, those who want to complete CSEC math and English. We have an elderly engagement section, and then we have other curriculum elements such as life skills, and we also look at computer literacy.
Right. And even as it pertains to the elderly, is it that you would be going into those facilities and homes and doing work with the elderly? Explain that one for me.
No, so everybody comes to the centers. We have 15 centers, 1 in every electoral district. So everyone will come to the center, so they will be facilitated. We have a small number of persons who at this time have applied to be part of that program. So they're going to be brought to the area, and they're going to engage in different kinds of healthy sorts of activities. So far, we've had 555 students applying for the program, which we hope to start on Monday, the 2nd of June.
This is community impact.
Community impact. And it's totally free to the population. And I just want to add one more statistic. 365 of those persons who applied are looking for math. While we have more than enough teachers, a surplus of teachers for every other area, English, literacy, numeracy, life skills, etc., we need more persons to apply for mathematics, to teach mathematics, because so many persons are reaching out to try to get that math. There is a fear of math, not just in Tobago and in Trinidad, but across the Caribbean, there's a fear of math, and we want to overcome that. It's part of the targeting for being the greatest little island on the planet.
Right. And there are a number of persons who are really excited for the opportunity to go to the community center and get free classes to be able to pursue CXC English or even math. Again, there are those persons who are not able to pay the course that comes with going to private classes. So tell us about that thrust towards making education more accessible and affordable for the average citizen. It may be students who recently finished school and didn't get math, or persons who would have finished school a long time ago, did not even go to high school, that are now interested in getting some of these basic foundational subjects so that they can go on to pursue careers in different areas.
Right. So the centers that I'm referring to are actually schools. We just call them learning centers, right? And we have one in each district, as I said. So from Speyside Anglican all the way down to Mason Hall and all the way down to Bonaccord. So all of these schools are available on the website, so that people will know how close they are. And if you don't want to go into the center that is closest to your home where you live because of fear or shame or anything like that, you can go to any center. You can register and you can travel to any center. It's a good point that you raise in terms of lack of access because of loss of funding or just the inability to motivate yourself to go out there and to do something that you haven't done for a long time. So the division is aware of that. It aligns with the UN Sustainable Development Goals to have quality education across the board, and with our Tobago's regional development goals. That goal is to have lifelong learning for all persons. So whether you're differently abled, you're physically completely abled, whether you dropped out of school in third form, in primary school, whether you never attended school, you never had the opportunity, this is your opportunity to come and have access free of charge to you to learning, to improvement. Math and English, if you just dropped out of school, you just finished school, you did not acquire those subject areas, just like you said, you're very welcome. What we are trying to ensure is that our tutors, apart from being competent in terms of the delivery of the subject, we want to ensure that our teachers have compassion and our teachers are understanding and receptive of the persons who are coming to them. Because we not only have persons like who you have just described, we also have people who have no basic skills for functioning. They're functionally literate. That means they cannot use an ATM machine without assistance. That means they cannot fill out a form. That means they don't understand the difference between a pack of milk or a pack of soap powder unless they smell it or they're familiar with the particular branding. So we want persons to have targets that are achievable for them. You know what it is you need. A number of persons do not have their ID cards. They live in a different kind of social framework from middle class society. And we want to improve everyone in Tobago so that you could really access all of the opportunities that are coming when we look at an autonomous type of society and an opportunity for greater autonomy. We want Tobagonians, all families, all communities to be able to access those opportunities and to make good on those choices. So everyone is invited to come to encourage somebody. I know that everybody, as I'm speaking, thinks about somebody, some relative, some family member, some friend who has the need for classes like this.
Right. I also know persons within my community that would be more than happy to do so. And for those persons who may not be able to do the sign-up process on their own, can you register on someone's behalf? You can help them with the application online.
Of course. Persons can be assisted, and you can just walk into any of the sites on the day, the first day, or in fact the entire week, and be registered there. You will get assistance.
And so tell us when this is starting.
We want to start on Monday, the 2nd, I believe, of June. We are operating from 5 to 8. There's going to be a timetable. We're going to post it. We're going to call each student who has applied individually and remind them of where they are supposed to go, what they've signed up to do, how they're going to do it. So 5 to 8, you will have your own timetable. Each group, depending on the cohort, would have their specific targets. So if you're looking at CSEC, Math or English, you have your 13-week cycle, your 12-week cycle. You're going to move from point A to point B, ultimately to write the exam. If you're going there to be exposed to life skills like how to use an ATM or how to recognize the word milk, differentiated from the word soap powder, how to write your own name, how to fill out a form so that you can actually apply for different services, those targets are going to be set. So at the end of your 12 weeks, at the end of your 13 weeks, we're going to assess what you have been able to achieve. We have a center, like I said, a school in every single district. Some of our mega centers include Methodist, Cabro Methodist in town. It deals with a large area, so that persons can come from quite a few villages and be able to be comfortably hosted. Some of the schools will benefit from our presence as well, because some of the minor equipment that they would need, they don't get to achieve them, because when you do your scope of work, you tend to focus on emergency scopes alone. For instance, some of their toilets don't have doors, some of their cupboards in the classrooms don't have locks. So because of our presence there, we're going to be able to do these little minor activities so that the schools will benefit as well as we go along.
Right.
So I want to encourage everybody to participate in community impact.
Right. And although we are dealing with adults here, you know, we would think functional adults, how do you ensure that this space remains safe? And it's up to the standard that the principal wants when you have school happening in the night and then school in the morning. How do you ensure that, you know, that type of cleaning takes place just as there are cleaners after school, to ensure that when students come in the morning, the classroom is in tip-top shape and ready for progressive learning the next day?
Right, so that's an excellent question. We've actually engaged a secretariat of young persons who are going to be helping us to do the coordination and the management of the sites. Some of the employees will be janitors. They will help us to keep the place clean and so on. We're going to work very closely with the principals of each school to ensure that, you know, both the persons who are coming to be taught and the students who are coming the next day will have a nice, safe, clean environment, and all can coexist. It will ensure that we extend school somewhat and that we allow the adults to have the kind of education they need to help the students. So both sets of persons should be improving academically and with any kind of life skill that they may need.
Excellent. Well, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back with much more in this conversation right after this. See you soon.
It's a brand new
is your chance to lock in the brunch experience of the summer. Sun Up.
Real bad girl, get nasty.
The Brunch Inclusive Edition, the ultimate party in the East, where vibrant flavors, refreshing cocktails, and electrifying vibes collide. It's happening on Saturday, July 5th from 3 p.m. at Deltec Compound, Argyle. Bring your coolers, bring your crew, and brunch, sip, and vibe in style. This is the flavorful escape you've been waiting for. Grab your tickets now at Barcode, Harblow Supermarket, Lost Restaurant and Lounge, Deltec Compound, and committee members. Sun Up. It's more than a brunch. It's an experience.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix, and this morning I continue my conversation that I have been chatting with a technical advisor for the Division of Education, Research and Technology. We're talking to Ms. Second this morning, and we're talking about community impact. Now, as indicated previously, there was Project Impact that was focused towards some of the remedial students going into high school, and now there's Community Impact focused on offering free educational classes in math, English, life skills, and some other things that will be happening at the community levels, but the centers are at the schools within each district. So you will have to find out along with your registration exactly where you are being placed. You have some centers like the Bonaccord Government School, the Buku Government School, Montgomery, and what are some of the other centers?
Right, so we do have...
You indicated Methodist for the Scarborough area.
We have Wim Anglican as well, Bishop's High School, we mentioned Mason Hall Secondary, Speyside Anglican, I believe Roxborough Anglican is also one. It's about 15 of them.
Right. But you're also doing that senior engagement program. Tell us a little bit about that one. What does that look like?
Right, so seniors could range in terms of their ability to do things, very wide-ranging. So we want them to not be isolated. We want them to be engaged and to participate so that they have a nice, healthy period of retirement and they can contribute and they can participate. So there might be some physical activity, there might be some art and craft, karaoke, fun stuff.
Right, love that.
Yes.
Love that. Maybe aerobics.
Yes.
Whatever they are able to do just to come out and be social and, keep the brain working. So you are also offering computer literacy and numeracy. So that means that for the persons who are not yet at the stage where they can go to a class to do CXC math or English, and they are at the base level, meaning learning to read, there are classes available for them as well. But we can't talk about learning without talking about teaching.
Yes.
And the role of teachers in this overall program and the project itself. What are some of the opportunities that are available for educators in this project, Community Impact?
Yes. So just like with Project Impact, every time I come on the program, I try to emphasize how much people love teaching in different kinds of environments. You can forget some of that love in a system where there's a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of systemic problems. So opportunities like this that have less rigidity in terms of their monitoring and evaluation, in terms of you, the teacher, in less punitive, you are able to relax and enjoy the process of teaching and learning differently. You go back to when you were a student at college and you get to implement all sorts of constructivist approaches to teaching and learning, and you have fun. A number of the teachers enjoy the business of teaching, and a number of the students enjoy that kind of learning. So the opportunity is there for teachers to not only earn additional funding to do whatever they need to do, because it's a situation where everybody receives a good solid stipend, it also re-emphasizes that joy of learning and helps to motivate them to continue, because there are a few teachers who do feel stifled in any education system, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but across the globe. These opportunities help you to kind of reconnect with that love. And you're also able to help your entire community by assisting persons who never had the chance to learn the way we did and who do not have the skills that we have. You get a chance to help them up.
Right, and persons often say, teachers are not compensated well enough. And there must be opportunities for teachers to be able to extend their portfolio while also being able to make a little bit more.
Of course.
So is this project specific to persons who are already trained teachers, or someone who probably got a distinction in English and was like, I'm good at CXC, I could teach that. So who are you targeting as it pertains to the facilitators?
You have different levels. So you need trained teachers for literacy, for numeracy, and for CSEC math and for CSEC English. You can have for your life skills if you're going to do some hairstyling or event management and so on. You can have persons who they're versed in their field. They don't even have the actual qualifications in terms of certification, because we have a number of really skilled persons in Trinidad and Tobago who do not have certification, but they have a very successful business and a strong clientele. So those kinds of persons can come in, teach you how to do a basic garment manufacturing, or something to do with your hair, something to do with your face and your finances, how to manage your finances, even how to consume a balanced diet, prepare and consume a balanced diet, and to change your lifestyle so that you'll live a little healthier. So different levels will be employed for the teaching to help you to move from a space where you do not recognize your name to a place where you do. A specialist is needed. So persons trained and skilled in literacy will be engaged to do that.
Okay, and even as it pertains to some of the parents not being able to have the ability to provide supervision for their kids while they are at the centers, is there any area specific to allowing children to be there while parents are in learning?
Well, we do have a secretariat, as I said. A secretariat means that we have persons who are engaged by the division who will be looking at the administrative management of the program, and there will be opportunities for persons, not all the picnic them, but for persons to bring one or two sometimes, and they will be well supervised.
Okay, understood. Because that is the time when parents come home from work, and usually daycare is closed at that time. So, some persons might say a barrier to entry may be I don't have anyone to look after the kids while I am there. So just to put in that consideration for those persons so that no one
they can bring the children with them.
Right, excellent. And what are you hoping to achieve with this project?
What we want is quality education for everyone. We want to be able to really realize the dream of being the greatest little island on the planet. Everybody needs to be able to fit in properly. Everybody needs to be able not only to recognize opportunity, but to access it and to be able to move from one stage to the next, to set aside all of the excuses of the past and to properly participate in your own development and your own self-actualization. And it's important for persons to begin to dream of moving from one stage to the next. The packages are very small, 12 to 13 weeks. It's time to invest in your own self. You may have given all of your time and all of your effort based on the circumstances of your life to your own children or to other members of your family and so on. Now is your time. This is an opportunity for you. You can start off with one cycle and then you can continue with another cycle. If you didn't complete the first cycle properly, you can repeat that cycle. This program, in its first initiation, will look at 2 years, right? So over the next 2 years, we're willing to invest. In fact, we understand the importance of investing in our human capital formation and development. Tobago, for us to be able to realize both autonomy and everything that comes with being the greatest island on the planet, we must upskill. And those who can must extend their hand to pull up those who at this point in time cannot.
Right. And would the tutors be willing, and is it a part of their portfolio to usher persons into that exam by means of helping them to register for the exams and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm. So the teachers, in collaboration with the secretariat, see, I keep coming back to that. We're engaging these young persons and they're understanding the whole system of taking persons from one point to the next. So we're going to see you through all the way to the end point.
Right. Would the secretariat be responsible for following up with possible dropouts?
Of course.
During the program. So, for instance, if a person has not attended classes for twice during the 12 weeks, how are you going about that to ensure that, because you may end up starting off with 100%,
of course,
and then you boil down to like 20.
Yes.
How do you ensure that you maintain that momentum and get persons to stick to it?
Building the relationships, maintaining the connections, and sticking to it at the level of the secretariat. They have been fully trained. They have all of the files and the filing system set up. So they're going to be monitoring and they're going to be contacting everyone, encouraging everyone. We're going to be macoing your scene to the point where we can help you to move from point A to point B to point C.
So that might look like calling someone and saying, well, Mr. George, we didn't see you last week.
Yes.
Is everything all right? Is there anything that we can assist you with? What type of issues are you facing? Would there be a requirement for persons to submit their absence beforehand if they are unable to make a class or two, that they have to notify the teacher? And are there a specific amount of absenteeism that will cause a person to be withdrawn from the ability to, let's say, do the exam? So although you may be able to join the cohort again next year, if you miss, let's say, 4 classes out of 12, you would automatically be removed from the examination list. Are you looking at policies like that to ensure that persons stay committed? Because we know there's the idea that people do not value things that are free. So how do you get persons to see the value and stick with the project?
We have to help them, and that is why we have an extensive orientation period. The entire first week will have, apart from teaching content, orientation, because people have to understand the benefit to them. If you do not break that code and help them to understand how they benefit, they're just going to see it as something free and something that they can participate in or not participate in. You have to show them how it will change their lives, their children's lives, their families' lives, and their opportunities. I remember having a student way back when I was a teacher at Bishop's, and he was brilliant. He would have, by the time he got to Form 5, wanted to leave school to help to support the other children in the household. And what we would have done, a core of us, sat with him and explained to him how much more he could earn just by having KEEP rather than just CSEC. And we worked with him because he couldn't come to school every day. he couldn't make all of the man hours and the day hours to be in school. We worked with him and he completed his CAPE. Big struggle, but he completed his CAPE. And several years later, we saw him, as a Coast Guard and so on. And that you participated in helping him to complete. Some people need that help to complete. And so that's what we are about right now. Everybody has to take it seriously. Everybody has to recognize that changes are happening all around us in Trinidad and in Tobago. And in order for us to all be able to access, we want to improve ourselves. Because systemic changes may happen that make you poorer than you are now.
Correct. And again, you want to reiterate that there's no age limit.
No age limit.
To this project.
Come at 90, come at 102, come with 2 hands, come with 1 hand.
Even if
come
you
in a
did
wheelchair.
CXC last year.
If you did CXC last year, if you did CXC maths 19 times, this is the 20th time and we're asking you to come and do it with us. Come.
Excellent. Well, we're going to take a quick break right here and we'll be back as we continue with much more conversation on all that's happening. See you soon.
Do you think you know Premier League or Champions League football? What about international cricket or the IPL and CPL? How about NBA basketball? Well, now you can put your skills to work to earn some extra cash by betting on the games with TT Bet Arena. Simply go to our website, choose a sport you want to bet on, find the games and place your bets. And with your computer or mobile device, you can bet from anywhere. Just go to ttbetarena.com, sign up for a free account, make a deposit, and start betting. It's that simple. You can even qualify for our $2,000 sign-up bonus. We also have horse racing, plus live casino games where you can bet using TT dollars. And check our new Tobago location at 7B Milford Road, Crown Point. For more info, call or WhatsApp 494-0634. TT Bet Arena, the #1 sports betting company in Trinidad and Tobago.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions, powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
Tobago, this is your chance to lock in the brunch experience of the summer. Sun up.
Real bad girl, get nasty.
The brunch inclusive edition, the ultimate party in the East, where vibrant flavors, refreshing cocktails, and electrifying vibes collide. It's happening on Saturday, July 5th from 3 p.m. at Deltec Compound, Argyle. Bring your coolers, bring your crew, and brunch, sip, and vibe in style. This is the flavorful escape you've been waiting for. Grab your tickets now at Barcode, Pablo Supermarket, Lost Restaurant and Lounge, Deltec Compound, and committee members. Sun up! It's more than a brunch, it's an experience.
Quartz is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Quartz Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Quartz Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, I continue my conversation as we chat all about community impact. That's the opportunity for adults to go to free classes at the different educational centers within each district. This morning I've been chatting with the technical advisor for the Division of Education, Research and Technology, and we have been talking about all that's happening on this front. So we are preparing persons, adults, to do CXC, and these classes are absolutely free. But outside of that, for persons who are not yet at the level where they can go to classes for CXC, math and English, there are numeracy and literacy classes available, so that if you want to start at the base level.
Yes.
And the ABC, sounding of letters, reading, writing, being able to fill forms, differentiate products at the grocery store, that is also being done. But the community has to get involved, not just in the capacity of working at the centers, but doing their job to make others aware of what is happening. So even as you are hearing this now, you have a duty to ensure that someone else knows that this is happening.
Yes.
And so I'm going to ask my producer if he can put up the photo of the form so that you can use your cell phone at this moment to scan the QR code and register, or simply send a photo of the flyer to someone else. This is the community impact, and so when they find that flyer, they will put it up. But when it comes to some of the things that are still needed to get the project up and running, how can the community get involved in other ways? There might be someone who says, well, you know, I have a little cart, I don't mind coming out and selling some water and juice for the persons who are at the compound between 5 to 8, because at that time, obviously, the cafeterias are closed. What type of assistance is still needed? What type of engagement is still needed to not only have that economic activity happening in the community, but to have everyone engaged?
So the division would be very grateful to partner with corporate sponsors to assist us with those minor repairs that are needed. For instance, like I mentioned earlier, the locks on the cupboards for the teachers, the doors in the bathrooms in some of the schools, etc. So corporate sponsors can always come on board to help us with some of the minor equipment. The thing that we want to do is ensure that a sort of catalyst is generated. We want persons across all different sectors, whether you're in the churches, different NGOs, different schools, etc., different groups. We want everybody to take literacy and numeracy and improvement, academic improvement seriously, and incorporate it in some way in whatever programs you're doing, whether it is Sunday school, Sabbath school, whatever have you. Do not take it for granted that the people that you are treating with know what you're saying in terms of are able to read it. Don't assume that your prompter goes up in church and everybody knows the words there to sing. Yeah. So if you have little Sunday school, little Sabbath school, etc., incorporate. There is a teacher somewhere there. There's a retired teacher somewhere there. Incorporate some teaching and some learning.
Right. And you said that there currently is a huge demand for mathematics and for persons coming to the math class. So you are currently overwhelmed, almost full to capacity. So you are looking for more tutors who are qualified to teach English for the CXC level.
Yes. So I am appealing to those of you who love teaching math. There are a number of you. For you, math is fun, math is engaging, math is exciting. We want you to come and participate in this program, so register now. you are the person who will assist persons to appreciate math more, to make the concepts more realistic, etc. We need more math teachers. We have over 300 persons applying to do math, so there's a great need. In our THA, or workforce, we have about 12% of the actual adult workforce who have only completed primary school education. We have 60% who have only completed secondary level education, and 28% of the adult workforce in the Tobago House of Assembly have post-secondary education. So there's a need for us to improve, upskill, so that different persons can have opportunities for promotions, they can fill vacancies, etc. So we need math. We have quite sufficient for the first cycle in all of the other fields, but we need more math teachers to enroll today.
Excellent. And even as it pertains to that transition, when persons are successful at the examination level and they're now optimistic about moving on to, you know, greater pursuits, would the Secretariat be able to guide them, to show them, hey, you know, these are the other programs that you are now qualified to move into, whether it be a certificate, an associate, or, you know, a diploma, to ensure that learning is continuous and that relationship, as you said, with the members, you know, is ongoing. So you have that, you know, post-exam consultation and follow up with them to see where they are and how they're going.
Yes, definitely. And Chanel, nothing succeeds like success. So if you are able to overcome one milestone, there's a lot of opportunities that you will now be able to see, now be able to understand that you can do, so that you can move on to some course in the Tobago Hospitality School, THDI, or you could go and do something else in Tittle 211. You can do something at YTEP, you can do something else. Something that is linked to it, something that you did not have the capacity to do before. And so the Secretariat will help you with that coherence and that synergy, so that we move from one step to the next.
How important is it for persons to not only join, but join and stick to it and see it to the end and ensure that the, you know, limited resources that the THA has that is being put towards initiatives like this will not be wasted?
Well, plenty wastage takes place with all kinds of things. So we can't focus on the potential of some people to drop out. We have to encourage people to see the importance of it. It is critical for you to understand that this is an opportunity for you. This is an opportunity for you to improve and for you to develop. A lot of it has to do with a sense of self-esteem, feeling that they cannot do it, and 100 excuses come to mind when you actually start. So you have to take it with baby steps. People have to encourage them. Good teachers are good life coaches.
Right. And if I could just put my recommendation
Mm-hmm.
in, you know,
Yes.
I know when it comes to teaching and motivation, even as a student, students look forward to things outside of just the curriculum from time to time. So, you know, things that help to build camaraderie among the students in the class, whether it be they plan an outing on a Saturday. These are the things that help persons to look forward to continuing to be a part of the program. So outside of coming to class every evening, 5 to 8, you know, you look forward to these new connections, new relationships, and doing things outside of just being in class. And, you know, maybe every now and then at the 4-week mark, you might have somebody come in and do a motivational speech, or someone come in and share their testimony about how they started off later on in life and they have still succeeded. Giving persons that intrinsic motivation to continue to persevere and push through, because I don't think it's just persons who didn't have CXC or didn't do well in math or English that, you know, have difficulty with commitment, sticking to things, and procrastination, organization, making the time to study. Even us at our big age, we sometimes need a little nudge. So, you know, I would just like to recommend that, you know, attention is paid on the mental health and helping, you know, with study skills and time management and all these things that would help person to join and stay.
Join and stay.
And stay a part of the program and value it. Not just because it's free means that you won't value it. But even as we are forced to wrap up the discussion this morning, we want to encourage all Tobagonians, whether you need it or not, to take a photo, screenshot this flyer and post it on your WhatsApp status, your Facebook status, share. Go to the Division of Education, Research and Technology's Facebook page, and from there you can also share it. This is our opportunity to ensure that no one gets left behind as it pertains to education and educational development on the island of Tobago. We are talking about quality education for all, as Sustainable Development Force says. And this is the THA. Well, I have to say kudos to you, technical advisor, and your team for coming up with an initiative like this one. We are always happy to see the development happening. Is there anything you want to say to Tobago before we end off this morning?
So what I want to say is, this is your opportunity. This is your time. Set aside that time. Determine if you're going to go outside of your community. You will need a little $6 to get there. Determine who you're going to tell and who you're not going to tell. You don't need to tell everybody. Invest in your improvement, because this opportunity is specifically for you. In order for you to fulfill that dream of becoming that early childhood educator, becoming that fast food restaurant owner, whatever, in order for you to achieve those things, you can start right here with us with Community Impact. You're welcome, and once you show up, we're going to walk with you all the way to the very end.
Right. And again, I would like you guys to post the flyer one more time for those persons who want to get the time. So this is actually, there's no start time here, but it's starting in June.
June the 2nd. So that's next week, Monday.
So that's next Monday from 5 p.m.
to 8 p.m.
And there's a number that's there. 2990781. That's the Division of Education, Research and Technology. But there's an extension 3003. If not, you just call and ask them to be transferred to
Community Impact Secretariat.
The Community Impact
Anybody dealing with Community Impact.
And they would allow you to register, and they would also tell you what center you will be studying at. So please inquire, do your due diligence. You know, my granny used to say you have to seek your own interest.
You have to.
Right?
See about yourself. Is that see about yourself time?
Seek your own interest this morning, or the interest of your child. If your child did CXC within the last 5 years and you are not happy with the result that they brought home, this is your opportunity, free of charge, to ensure that they continue with their learning. So guys, we want to thank you so much for your time this morning. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing to ensure that Tobago Updates is the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am your host, Chanel Felix, and have a great day.